What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Eli. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the one and only infamous brand, Peloton. But before I get into it, you guys know the drill. Go ahead and click thumbs up and subscribe below if you're new to the channel. So another big influencer that was working for Peloton as an instructor has now left Peloton, right? Her name is Kendall Toole. Now, this is pretty interesting. As a person that worked for Peloton for a very small amount of time, I want to tell you that this doesn't surprise me, right? She's not the first influencer that left, for one. And for two, what's really crazy is people don't understand that Peloton is a way overpriced exercise bike, okay? Let me give you an example. So when I was working for Peloton, it was really, really difficult to deal with customers because they were paying for a product that we know is probably sourced in China. And by the time it arrived to them, it had some kinks in it or it had some issues, right? There was a time where Peloton had back orders all the way dated, to 90 to 120 days out. So that means if you paid $1,500 to $3,000 on a Peloton bike or treadmill, you would often not receive it, right, for up to 90 to 120 days, somewhere in that range. And people were calling and they were pissed. Now, this is what I want you to understand is Peloton came up with a genius idea because they decided, right, to create this brand during the pandemic. When there was a lot of people stuck at home and they couldn't exercise, it made a lot of sense for some people, right? Especially if their jobs got moved to home and they were exhausted and they just wanted to hop on the bike and ride and get some cardio in, right? But now, what a lot of people didn't know is sometimes people would get these expensive items and it would end up breaking down rather quickly. Now, Peloton has a policy that you have to initiate a return within 30 days of receiving your product. But the problem is sometimes these people that would spend thousands or a couple thousand on their, whether it be the treadmill or the bike, they would be 45 days in, 50 days in, and all of a sudden they're starting to have issues with that product, which then they have to pay a few $100s to replace a small part on their bike or on their treadmill, right? Which is really frustrating as a customer. The worst part about it is Peloton has a subscription model after you make the purchase. In order to use their interactive training on their bike and make it seem like you're riding through California or riding through the mountains or whatever it may be, they charge roughly $60 a month on top of that. So it was one hell of a business model. But I can specifically remember dealing with those customers as a customer support agent, and those people were extremely upset. Right? I can even remember there was a time where I was on the phone and I literally had to deal with a customer who was screaming, "I'm going to get my lawyer. I'm going to get my lawyer." And when you're getting paid, $15 an hour, you kind of just laugh it off and you hang up on the person. Customer service support agents know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? But today I want to get in and read this article from People Magazine because this is pretty interesting that she's leaving. And I'm curious to find out why. So let's dive into it together. All right. Peloton, after nearly 5 years, I'll see you on the next chapter. I will forever be grateful for this life experience and transformation and personal growth that has been for me, she said. Peloton instructor Kendall Toole has announced her exit from the company, which she joined in 2019. She said, "I will forever be grateful, blah, blah, blah." The influencer teased fans saying, "Stay tuned for what's next." So she pretty much got her fame or her brand growth through being an instructor for Peloton. So on June 13, the 31-year-old announced in a reel on Instagram that she's leaving the company after nearly 5 years. "It's with great consideration, many, many hours of reflection, but I'm choosing to close my chapter at Peloton," wrote Toole, who leads cycling, boxing, and strength workouts on the platform. She went on to thank the company for this incredible life-changing opportunity, as well as her followers for letting me into your homes, into your hearts, and many times I hope into the shadowy parts of your mind where sometimes things can get a little bit tough. And though she would no longer be at Peloton, Toole said this wasn't the end. Before we get too emotional, I don't want you to think I'm saying goodbye. I'm not. This is just a shift. I'll be continuing to check on social media. The more I'll see you on the next kind of energy. Stay tuned for what's next, and I will see you in the next adventure. It's still pretty interesting that she left. I wish that there was more information and we could find out why, right? But obviously she took the really professional leave and she said, you know what, I'm just getting out of here. But I truly believe that Peloton is not as great as it's priced. I don't think that it really offers people the value of what they're pricing their stuff at, because the reality is, if you're looking for cardio, you can go to Planet Fitness for $9.99 a month and you can just jump on the Peloton there, right? Or you can go to your local high school or middle school that has a track and you can run around the track, right? There are so many more ways to get inexpensive cardio. So I don't think Peloton, not only do I don't think that they have a very great product, it's obvious that with some of the influencers leaving, that this is kind of a tall tale and the end of times for Peloton, unless, right, we have another COVID coming. But I think that's that. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will catch you guys here next time. See ya.